In the previous chapter, the fierce battle between Jack Hanma and Pickle continued. The action began with Jack delivering a precise bite aimed at Pickle. The quick, calculated attack leaves Pickle momentarily vulnerable, as the audience watches in stunned silence at the intensity of the fight. From the stands, Baki analyzes Jack's methodical strikes, which target vital points. Meanwhile, Hanayama observes quietly, joined by Mitsunari, who questions the use of biting as a combat technique. Their conversation highlights Jack's unique approach. He has turned biting into a formidable martial art. The old man initially believed that Hanayama wouldn't respect Jack's fighting style. However, the opposite is true. Hanayama shows fascination and enthusiasm for the martial art developed by the biting cyborg. Tension rises as Jack opens his jaw unnaturally wide, causing confusion among the spectators. Seizing this moment, Pickle counterattacks with a well-aimed strike to Jack's abdomen, trying to shift the course of the fight. However, Jack quickly regains control and, using his strength, executes a powerful German suplex for the third time, slamming Pickle into the ground with impressive force. Despite his fatigue, Jack continues his assault and immediately moves in again, grabbing Pickle around the waist. The chapter concludes with Jack preparing his next move, showing unwavering determination as both fighters push their bodies to the limit in this intense confrontation. This week's chapter begins by showing how Jack is executing his powerful German suplex at high speed against the primitive being, who seems unable to stop this move. With incredible strength, Jack easily manipulates Pickle's body and slams him down for the third time with this formidable technique. The primitive warrior hits the ground, and his vision blurs for a moment. Once again, he's left dazed, trying to understand what just happened. Meanwhile, the narrator of the match highlights Jack's extraordinary speed, strength, and technique. Apparently, despite his immense power and experience facing dinosaurs, Pickle can do nothing against these modern martial arts techniques. It's as if all the force of a T-Rex were compressed into a body similar to his own, but with greater speed and combat ingenuity. This spectacle unfolds before the eyes of the arena spectators. Baki and the others watch Jack's offensive attentively. The cyborg clings to Pickle, and, without letting go, moves his body alongside the caveman's so that both fighters roll on the ground. Jack then positions himself to repeat the same attack. The cyborg manages to precisely apply another German suplex on Pickle, who once again slams into the arena floor, unable to react in time. The narrator comments in astonishment on Jack's new tactic, wondering what he's planning to do next. The crowd also remarks on how Jack is completely dominating his rival. If things continue this way, Pickle has no chance to return to the fight. The caveman is completely stunned, his gaze unfocused. It's the first time in his life that he's experiencing this type of attack and taking so much consecutive damage. While the prehistoric beam remains on the ground, the narrator wonders what the biting cyborg's next move will be. Wasting no time, Jack jumps and lifts his huge, heavy body into the air. This move leaves several spectators speechless. Even his younger brother, Baki, watches the match in amazement. Jack Hanma uses his forehead as a pivot point to spin over Pickle without letting go. He begins to apply strong pressure to the prehistoric beast's abdomen with his powerful arms. The next move seemed clear, and a broad smile appears on Jack's face. Pickle, still affected by the previous impact and unable to react, finds himself in a vulnerable position. Jack once again shifts the full weight of both of them onto his feet, and, with a swift motion, lifts Pickle again. The narrator can't believe that Jack is repeating his attack. With all this strength, Jack hurls Pickle's body as he arches backward at great speed. Pickle tried to pull away, but now without any strength left, he was incapable of resisting and was thrown backward once more. All he could do was watch as everything spun before his eyes. The narrator exclaims that Jack has applied his powerful German suplex again. His strategy was to completely stun his opponent. Immediately, Pickle's feet lift rapidly as he's propelled backward once again. The audience watches in astonishment as Pickle is once more subjected to this move. However, to everyone's surprise, the attack isn't over yet. Once again, Jack Hanma lifts his feet off the arena floor with a swift jump, using his forehead as a pivot point to execute the move without letting go of the prehistoric warrior. The primitive being's world is turned upside down once again as he's driven forcefully into the arena floor. Once more, Jack's technique combines both his strength and their combined weight to unleash a devastating attack. Baki is deeply astonished, and this new move leaves most of the audience impressed. Once again, this formidable fighter manages to stand up quickly and take his position, executing one last and powerful German suplex against Pickle, who at this point in the fight seemed like a training dummy, offering no resistance. This last German suplex was special, as it broke a portion of the arena's barriers with Pickle's enormous body. The audience is both amazed and worried about the state of the primitive being. He had once again received a very severe impact. The scene suggests that the fight is over, however. Jack stands up once again. Jack begins to slowly raise his hands and adopts a new stance, intriguing everyone present, who wonder what he plans to do next. The crowd questions whether he truly intends to keep attacking his opponent, even though he can no longer move. The cyborg starts to open and close his enormous fists, moving them at great speed and producing sounds similar to bites, as if proving that his fists can also bite. As Jack performs this incredible demonstration, a biting sound echoes throughout the arena, leaving those present astonished. The narrator mentions that this is a sign that Jack can bite his opponents at any moment. Jack begins to walk away, turning his back on Pickle, who remains motionless and proceeds to raise his fist in a gesture of victory. Seeing that Pickle has been rendered unconscious, the narrator exclaims that Jack has declared himself the winner of this explosive battle that he dominated from the start, indicating that his revenge has been successfully completed. Well, friends, after a little more than 3 months, this fight has finally come to an end. And what can I say? This was more of a beating than a fight. Jack dominated from start to finish. There was really never a moment of maximum tension like in the first fight. Even though Pickle was overwhelmingly defeated, his face showed no signs of concern. I mean, yes, he got angry during the fight, but he never showed anguish or worry about being outmatched in strength and speed. It's as if it were just another afternoon for him. I think that kind of tension was what this otherwise imposing fight lacked the most. I can't really say much about this particular chapter. We didn't get to see the reactions and comments of key fighters like Baki and Hanayama. Maybe in the next chapter, we'll see what they have to say about the fight. I also can't say much about the action, since we only saw Jack applying the German suplex 3 times in a row to Pickle. It seems like the caveman got an all-expenses-paid trip to Suplex City. Another thing many were expecting but didn't happen was Pickle going into his berserker mode. I was really hoping it would happen, at least for a few moments. In that state, Pickle would have put Jack in trouble for a few seconds and forced him to use his full power. While Pickle did manage to hurt Jack, I don't feel he forced him to go all out. Jack looks very fresh and ready for another fight. Without a doubt, this is a completely different scenario than in the first fight, because back then Jack had no chance of beating Pickle, even praying to God for help, which showed how desperate he was. Of course, I enjoyed Jack's victory, but I feel the fight left a lot to be desired. For one of the most anticipated rematches in the series, I feel it could have been better. But anyway, these were just a few brief comments. A full analysis of the fight is coming soon, and I'd like to include your opinions in the video, so please leave your thoughts and critiques in the comment box. And well, friends, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked it. I hope you have a nice day or night. See you soon.